Sing a new song, Shir Chadash. Sing a new song. Every day is a new day. Every Shabbat is a new week. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, baruch hu shemo. Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Sator hagoyim gevodo. B'kol amim niflotav. Ki gadol Adonai. U'le'olam e'od. Turn the page. Adonai Malach. Adonai Malach. Hadgel haaretz. Yismechu, yismechu, yismechu im rabim. Adonai Malach. Hadgel Take a deep breath. Each psalm we let go of a day gone by, another day of the week. Each psalm, the 6 psalms preceding Lacharodi, should help you to relax and celebrate, forget the week gone by, and start a new chapter as we hear the sound of a violin. Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar, sounds of the trumpets and the violin, all the instruments of the temple. 16. Most importantly, your voice, your holy voice. Zamru l'Adonai bechinu, bechinu, bechol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai bechinu, bechinu. Join us. Zamru l'Adonai bechino, bechino, bechol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai bechino. Bechol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai bechino, bechino, bechol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai bechino, bechino, bechol zimra. Next page, 17. Romemu, sing to God with joy in your heart. We bow down at the holy mountain. We give praise. Romemu, 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 Adonai, Eloheinu. One word, romemu, give praise. Romemu, 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 Adonai, Eloheinu. With the timbrels in your hands. If only we could hear God's voice today. That's how we begin the Psalms. This is the last day we ask to hear God's voice. Kol Adonai al Hamayim. Last day of the week, we ask to hear God's voice. And it repeats 7 times in the Psalm. So just those words, Kol Adonai, the voice of God. It's everywhere. It's on the waters. It's in the heavens. But it's in your voice. Kol Adonai al Hamayim el HaKavod. Kol Adonai al Hamayim el HaKavod. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Everybody now. Kol Adonai al Hamayim el HaKavod. Kol Adonai al Hamayim el HaKavod. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Adonai Adonai Rabbi. Turn the page. L'charodi, we greet the bride. L'charodi. L'charodi likrat kala Shama nekavela L'charodi Kala Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'gibor Paris miyanu Ela meyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad l'shemo l'tiferet Veritila. Everybody sing L'chadodi likrat kala Pereshava nekabela L'chadodi likrat kala Pereshava nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ונשמה נקבלה. לכדורי נקרא קלה ונשמה נקבלה. ניחש מלך עיר מלוכה קומי צאי משפוטה וחרה לשבת ונקמת הרבו יעמור עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה ונשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה ונשמה נקבלה. התעוררי מפקומי ריבתי בגדי יפתח עמי על יד ונשאל ותלכמי קורא נפשי גאה. לך דודי לקרא קלה ונשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה ונשמה נקבלה. התעוררי גיבה עורף קומי אורי 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 שיר לדרך כבוד הקרניים עלייך נקרא. איי 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 לך דודי איי 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 לקראת קלה. אוי 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 ונשמה ונשמה נקבלה. איי 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 לך דודי איי איי לקראת קלה. איי 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 ונשמה ונשמה נקבלה. לא תבוכי ולא תקלמי מה תשתוקקי ומה תהמי ותחפשו עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר התהילה. איי 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 לך דודי איי 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 לקראת קלה. איי 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 ונשמה נקבלה. היו למשיסה שוסאי ורחקו כל מבלאי. ידיס עלייך אלוהי כמסות קטנה על קלה. איי 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 לך דודי איי 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 לקראת קלה. איי 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 ונשמה נקבלה. ימינו שמאל תפרוצי ותרונה את האריצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה בנגילה. איי 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 כדורי איי 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 לקראת קלה. איי 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 ונשמה נקבלה. תוכי תרוצי ותרונה את האריצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה בנגילה. איי 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 לכדורי איי 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 לקראת קלה. איי 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 ונשמה ונשמה נקבלה. איי 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 לכדורי איי 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 לקראת קלה. איי ונשמה ושלום עטרת בעלה. ים ושמחה וצולה תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה בואי חלה Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We welcome all of you to join together, greeting one another across the room. You can wave. You can even do a wave if we want to. You can wave to those online as well, those who are at home, tuning in from afar, or even just down the street or across the planet. We welcome you into this holy place, into this sanctuary. We greet one another in praise. We're on page 22. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. It's a good to give thanks to God, being grateful. Grateful for our safety, grateful for being here, to be here safely praying together. People of all faiths and backgrounds joined in song, uniting the world as one people, one God. Page 22. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ve'hagid בבוקר חסדך באמונת בלילות טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. עלי עצור ועלי נאווה, עלי גאול וכינור, כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך הרדית. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. אגדנו מעשיך הללויה, hallelujah. Just join me in hallelujah, everyone.
We gather today because it is Shabbat. It's what Jews do on the seventh day. We welcome the day of rest with family, friends, and community, and pray for peace. Peace for us, peace for our people, and peace for all people. We gather today in determination and defiance. On some level, to be a Jew is itself an act of defiance. We will not cower, we will not cringe, we will not crawl. We have seen it all before. We have survived it all. We're not going anywhere. You can harm us, you can inflict pain upon us, you can kill us, but you cannot destroy us. We gather today in relief. It was a searing, emotionally draining day for the families, friends, and community of Colleyville, but also for us, the Jewish community. We felt somewhere deep in the inner recesses of our being that bottomless, murky, dark dread of centuries of animosity against our people. We know, in ways Jews always know, there is a human virus, a plague, we now call anti-Semitism, that is ingrained, inveterate, indelible, ineffaceable, and ineradicable. The relief we felt when we received word that all the hostages were safe was both personal and collective, reverberating in millions of Jewish hearts and souls. We gather today in gratitude. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel l'chayavim tovot shegamalani kol tov. Blessed are you, O God, ruler of the universe, who rewards the undeserving with goodness. Oseh mispat la'ashukim, noten lechem la're'evim, Adonai matir asurim. God grants justice to the oppressed, gives bread to the hungry, and sets free the hostage. We are grateful to the law enforcement community that worked with such professionalism and purpose. We are grateful to Congregation Beth Israel under the leadership of Rabbi Citron Walker for their amazing grace under pressure, for their courage, their humanity, and their kind and generous spirit. We are grateful to our brothers and sisters in the Christian and Muslim communities, whose outpouring of love, affection, support, and solidarity touched our souls. Local churches immediately worked to shelter, provide for, and comfort the families of the hostages. Local mosques and imams rushed to Colleyville, not only to condemn the hostage taker, but to express their friendship, respect, and concern for their brother, Rabbi Citron Walker. They felt as if one of their own was threatened. They all represent the best of America. In this spirit, I want to welcome on your behalf and thank my friends, our friends, who are with us today and will deliver the final prayer. all of whom wanted to be here to express their community's solidarity with the Jewish community. Reverend Stephen Bauman, Senior Minister of Christ Church United Methodist and co-chair of our Partnership of Faith, and his associate, Reverend Dr. Violet Lee, Reverend Dr. Greg Stovell, Head of Staff, First Presbyterian Church in New York City, Imam Dr. Mohammed Khatim of the Admiral Family Circle, Reverend Brenda Husson, Rector, St. James Episcopal Church, Episcopal Priest, Reverend Thomas Faulkner, Father Brian McWeeny, Director of Interreligious Affairs of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of New York. Friends, we are deeply touched and moved by your support. Know that there is a dull fear in every Jewish soul that in the end we stand alone, abandoned to the wolves. As the Bible states, Am levadad yishkon uvagoyim lo yitchashev. The Jews are a people that dwells alone, not reckoned among the nations. Your presence reminds us that we are not alone today. So many people of good faith and all faiths stand with us. I say to the Jewish community, interfaith dialogue is imperative and it works. We come to know each other as people, not caricatures. We come to recognize our commonalities, to view each as creatures of God, endowed by our Creator with fundamental dignity and equally deserving of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We come to realize that what binds us together in the common cloth of humanity is far greater than that which divides us. I'll make 4 comments. 1, security. In truth, any Jewish gathering, any Jewish institution can be the target of hate. It occurs in the Orthodox community, as in Poway, Vonsei, repeated assaults on the streets of Brooklyn and New Jersey. It occurs in the conservative community, as in the attack on the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. It occurs in Reform synagogues, as in Colleyville. It can happen in casual gatherings in secular settings, as in a Los Angeles restaurant last year. It is a sad statement on America that Jews are at risk in every place where Jews gather. It's not as bad as Europe, but it is plenty bad and novel for us. Most of us have never experienced what we are feeling in these very days. I want to reassure you that you are as protected here as can be reasonably expected. With your support, we invest considerable resources in a whole variety of security measures, some of which you see and some you do not see. Our professional staff undergoes training from our security consultants. We are in direct and frequent contact with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. It is sad that in order to pray, we must enter through metal detectors. We are diminished by this need for increased security. Our task, our mission, our vocation, our purpose is to open the doors wide, to welcome the stranger, the orphan, the widow, the poor, and all who seek shelter, comfort, warmth, and human compassion. Alas, we must deal with the world as it is, not only as we would wish it to be. 2, the nature of anti-Semitism. The more we learn about Malik Faisal Ukram, the more recordings we hear of his rantings, the more it seems to lay observers that this man was deeply troubled emotionally. But even conceding mental health challenges, we must ask a basic question. Why seize Jewish hostages? Why a synagogue? Why not a local bank, a mall, a supermarket, a courthouse, the nearest Applebee's? Why not some media company? Or for that matter, why not a church or a mosque? Why a synagogue? Why Jews? I was struck by the initial statement of the FBI, later corrected by Christopher Wray, the FBI director, asserting that Ukram was not driven by anti-Semitism. He wanted to free Afia Siddiqui, a terrorist convicted of attempted murder of American military personnel who was incarcerated in a Texas prison. The initial instinct, even of professional law enforcement, was to think that this guy traveled from England to Colleyville, Texas, happened to just find himself in a residential neighborhood, happened to find a building that looked like a synagogue. It happened to be on Shabbat. And he just happened to say to himself, hey, maybe they can help release Siddiqui. Just a random, coincidental turn of events that didn't really have anything to do with the Jews. There is an instinct to underplay not only the presence of anti-Semitism, but the nature of anti-Semitism. We cannot defeat Jew hatred unless we understand its nature. It's easy to condemn the individual murder of a Jew. What right-minded person could condone taking 4 Jewish hostages on Shabbat for any purpose? The reason that Ukram was there was that he thought it was the closest synagogue to Siddiqui's prison. Why a synagogue? Because he was convinced that the Jews could arrange for her release. Where did he pick this up? That is the question for all who seek to fight effectively against anti-Semitism. Where did he pick this idea up? The identity of the actual gunman is secondary. The real question is, where did he pick up this hateful mindset? Who told him? What drove him to target Jews? One of the oldest anti-Semitic tropes that has caused untold devastation, first and foremost to Jews, but eventually to society itself, is that there is a secret Jewish cabal that pulls the strings of the world to benefit the Jews at the expense of everyone else, that Jews control everything. In the last century, it was the elders of Zion who undermined world unity. Today, it is Zionist elders hypnotizing the world and manipulating the great powers. There is a Jewish conspiracy, some kind of international plot that is directed and centralized. It's why Ukram got into his head to call our colleague in New York, who heads a synagogue called Central Synagogue. She can get Siddiqui out. Think of the absurdity of it all. Jews are less than 2% of the American population and are the targets of 58% of all religiously motivated hate crimes. We are less than 0.2% of the world population, You can fit all of the world's Jews into one Shanghai neighborhood. What explains why this people, a minuscule percentage, a rounding error of the world population, is the target of so much invective, hate, and murderous designs? The focus on and obsession with the Jewish people's mysterious powers to control the world is what unites both right and left-wing Jew hatred. Anti-Semites are obsessed with what they call international Jewry, or the worldwide Jewish conspiracy. Nothing you do will change their minds. Their anti-Semitism is not really about you. It's about them. It's about their own fears, hatred, suspicions, and insecurities. That's why anti-Semitism is so dangerous. The Jewish people is, and has always been, the perfect scapegoat around which to organize and rally people to extreme political causes. It is nefarious Jewish power, somehow centrally organized, that stands in the way of peace, prosperity, liberation, or justice. Thus, communists could accuse the Jews of being capitalists. Capitalists could accuse the Jews of being communists. Nationalists could accuse the Jews of cosmopolitanism, and cosmopolitans could accuse the Jews of blind loyalty to the Jewish people. To fight effectively against anti-Semitism, we must take on the toxic ideology, the place from which Jew hatred emerges, poisoning the heart and radicalizing the mind. It's not simply condemning the individual act that results from this radicalization. That condemnation, of course, is welcome and necessary, but it is only the first and the easiest step. We must do the much harder work of eradicating ideologies of hate in our communities. It means facing the problem of extremism and anti-Semitism head on. It means acknowledging with honesty that anti-Semitism today is not only the domain of white supremacists and neo-Nazis. At her trial, Siddiqui insisted that jurors undergo genetic testing and demanded DNA results to prove that none of the jurors was Jewish. Siddiqui must be brilliant. This MIT graduate with a PhD in behavioral neuroscience from Brandeis, was convinced that you could prove Jewishness by genetic testing. There are Jews of every color of the gorgeous rainbow of humanity, but somehow a blood test could single out the Jews. It demonstrates yet again that hatred is not the exclusive domain of the uneducated, and that the most brilliant people can be ignorant and captive to conspiracy theories. Yesterday was the 80th anniversary of the Vonsei conference. I see some people here who have traveled with the synagogue to Vonsei. Remember that? Outside Berlin. On January 20th, 1942, 15 senior Nazi bureaucrats gathered in this lakeside village in a beautiful pastoral setting to plan the final solution to the Jewish problem of Europe. 80 years ago yesterday. Half of the participants had advanced degrees and carried the title doctor. They were educated. They were cultured. They loved opera. They listened to Beethoven. At one and the same time, they were refined and savage. In our technological age, refined savages are the most dangerous of all. Siddiqui reportedly wrote to President Obama, cautioning him, study the history of the Jews. They have always backstabbed everyone who has taken pity on them and made the fatal error of giving them shelter. That's why holocausts keep happening to them. This was the woman who brought Akram to Colleyville, Texas. That's why he was there. This is the woman who is considered a heroine among many. This is the woman who is the subject of an international effort to get her released from prison. Western and American organizations rally for her release. They consider her incarceration an egregious miscarriage of justice. Why the surprise that a follower of this person ended up holding Jewish worshipers hostage in a synagogue on Shabbat? Where else would people who are fiercely driven ideologically or struggling with emotional problems, or both, where else would they go if the institutions that embrace them, the leaders who teach them, and the community that supports them all tell them that the Jews are the enemy? After her conviction, Siddiqui declared, "This is a verdict that comes from Israel, not America." So let me say a brief word about Israel. It was symbolic for me to hear Rabbi Citron Walker describe when he first learned that this person he made tea for to keep him warm was a villain. It was when the rabbi's back was turned to the gunman, because during the Amidah prayer, Jews turn and pray in the direction of Jerusalem. Facing Jerusalem is when Akram chose to threaten the hostages. That is when they heard the click of the gun. Our friends, all those wonderful people who are disgusted by extremism and are motivated by the desire to do good, should realize one thing about the Jews. The land of Israel, the city of Jerusalem, is sacred to us. We have turned to face her for millennia. Doesn't mean that we should not find a way to accommodate two people's national aspirations. We need to share that small parcel of sacred land. This synagogue has always been in favor of a two-state solution, and we will continue to support those who work towards this end. But we can only create peace if we also acknowledge Jewish identity and Jewish national aspirations. Jerusalem was proclaimed the capital of Israel by King David 3,000 years ago. We are not occupiers. We are not colonialists. We are not foreign invaders replacing indigenous populations. The opposite. The Jews in Jerusalem created the religious framework for Christianity and Islam. Jews in Jerusalem laid the intellectual foundations that led to the enlightenment of the West. The ideal of dignity, that all are created in the image of God. Intellectual pluralism, debate, reason, evidence, the embrace of science, the foundation of all these values were laid by the Jews of the land of Israel in antiquity. This week's Torah portion, each row, contains the Ten Commandments. It was our people who first insisted that law governs society. Not the Pharaoh, not the king, not the autocrat, not the wealthy. All are equal before the law. The world is redeemed through justice. The Jews of Zion bequeathed the prophetic legacy of the yearning for peace. When Martin Luther King proclaimed, "Let justice roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream," he was quoting the Jewish prophet Amos. The Hebrew prophets dreamt of the day when all shall sit under vine and fig tree, and none shall be afraid. The very name Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, means the city of peace. That is why we turn to Jerusalem in prayer. It symbolizes the Jewish people's yearning and most fervent aspirations for the establishment of the era of peace for all. And without even knowing why, that is when Ukram chose to threaten, to hold hostage. He clicked his gun at the precise moment when Jews turn in prayer to Jerusalem, the city of peace. 4, finally, I urge you to stand up and be counted as Jews, proud Jews. Stand in awe before the unfurling scroll of Jewish destiny. You are connected to something special and precious. Am Yisrael, the people of Israel. You are the heirs of kings, prophets, freedom fighters, poets, teachers, and moral guides who revolutionized human thought. You belong to an ancient people that changed the world. Commit and recommit to the future of our people, to Jewish education, Jewish self-determination, and collective Jewish dignity. These, more than the harm that our foes can inflict upon us, will determine the future of Judaism. I thank God for making me a Jew. I am grateful to live in these times, in this beautiful country, witnessing the miraculous revival of the Jewish people in a Jewish state. I'm grateful to magnificent people of different faiths who stand with us in our time of need. I pray for all of us. May we live long lives, lives of honor, kindness, mercy, compassion, meaningful lives, promoting goodness, joy, and peace. Jewish sages ask, who is a hero? And they respond, one who turns an enemy into a friend. To this we dedicate ourselves anew and pledge the last full measure of our devotion. Amen. We turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu, and we rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. 148. With love in our hearts, eternal love. אהבת עולם בישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו למדת אלוהינו וצופנו וקומנו לעשיית חוקך ולשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד לעולם ועד אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו למדת אלוהינו וצופנו וקומנו לעשיית חוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ולנגי יומם תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם
Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem,
Adonai Elohechem, Emet. Emet emunah kol וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו. אמת אמונה כל טוב וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו. ואין זולתו, ואין זולתו, אנחנו ישראל עמו. אבותינו מיד מלכים הגואלנו מכף כל האריסים. אמונה כל טוב וקיים עלינו, הוא אדוני אלוהינו. אמונה כל טוב וקיים ישראל עמו. אבותינו מיד מלכים הגואלנו מכף כל האריסים. אמת ואמונה כל זו, ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל. לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם.
Miriam with her timbrel in her hand, they reached the sea and they saw it part. And they witnessed a miracle and they said, who is like you, God? Mi chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha kedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha kedar b'kodesh. Norateinu ונאמר כפרונה אל יעקב וגאלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך
אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. A blanket of peace, a shelter of safety. Sukkot Shlomecha, we ask God to cover us with a shelter of peace. Hashkivenu, 153. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom, Leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ufros alenu sukat shlomecha, ufros alenu sukat shlomecha. Try with us, everyone. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom, Leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros alenu sukat shlomecha, ufros alenu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Give us an amen, everyone. Amen.
ישראל פת Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufiahi Tehilatecha Ufiahi Tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומר חסדים טובים וקורא הכל וזוכר חסי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מקלקל חיים בחסד מקיים הכל ברחמים רבים צומק עולים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו תשנה יפה מכבוד עמל בגבורו ומירו מרב מלך מלך ומקיים ולהצמיח ישועה ולמען החיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מקיים הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יעלו חסר ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We now offer a prayer for healing as we hold so many in our hearts who are in need of uplifting and support and healing. We offer these words. Misha berach avotenu v'imotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah hu yivarech et hacholim Chana Zachariah ben Rachel v'Yonatan Daniel ben Yosef v'Leah Ada Brody Trudy Breuer Nick Falella Martin Levine, Drew Patchin, Buzz Warren, Joanne Weinrib, Joseph Yadgard, Boris Zindels. And if you are praying for people for healing and you'd like to share their names out loud or in your hearts or on the chat, please do so now.
Ron Flaxman.
May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. We turn to page 282 for the Aleinu, and we rise.
Aleinu לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויים על רצון, ולא שמענו כמשפטו עמה, שלא שם חלקנו כבד, ולא ראינו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ואומרים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושבי קרוב עד שמיים עמך, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. ואלוהינו את מלכנו, את פסולתו, הכתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והסב אותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים עמך, ועל הארץ
Now turn to those who have departed from this earth. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We extend our sympathies to those who have lost loved ones in recent weeks. Ariel Eli Azulay, and we remember the following yahrzeits of years past. Irving Antosovsky, Morton Aronoff, Bernice Brower, Norman Buchbinder, Joan Chimino, Eugene Azersky, Michael Foyer, Isidore B. Geller, Donald Greenspan, Jean Hershen, Irving Kaplow, Harry Mellons, Jonas Miller, Gerald Popick, Doris Richmond, Henrietta Roche, Alan Roseblum, Lillian Rumerman, Natalie Shapiro, Jeanette Springer, Leonard Wagman, Edna Weiss, Elaine Wilson, Max Wilson. And if there are people for whom you are saying Kaddish and you'd like to share their names out loud or in your hearts or on the chat, please do so now. We continue as one community and we turn to page 294 and we rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei
Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Olmei Almaya
Yitbarach,
Yitbarach
v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha, barichu,
Brichu
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
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 May the one who creates harmony on a high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Amen.
Ose shalom bin Roma, o yase shalom. Hallelujah, kol Yisrael.
Please be seated.
Good evening. Thank you, Ami, for your hospitality. Thank you for your hospitality. It is so good to be here. We're sorry we're here, prompted by the occasion that has happened, which makes me want to say, gosh, we should do this more often. Our hearts are full. When it crossed my mind, well, what can be done? What can we do? What can I offer? What can we offer? The answer that came to me was, well, we can offer ourselves. And so we do stand here with you and the whole Jewish community and all communities that suffer and are in pain. We are a band of friends who have learned to struggle and work with one another, and we've grown as a result. I know that I have. I know that Ami has been my teacher, as have these other persons as well. And there are others. It's in this spirit that we've joined with you tonight, and I'm asked to offer a final blessing. It will be short, but heartfelt, deeply meant. And again, let's do this more often and change the world. Change the world. May our God of infinite mercies bless us and keep us this night. May our God of infinite life inspire within us a burning desire for justice and peace. May our God of infinite love provide great courage within us that we stretch beyond the bounds of hateful tribalisms, championing the truth that all people share the same sacred genetics. May our God of infinite grace hold each of us tenderly and all those we love and all anywhere who suffer because of human sin and weakness. God bless us, that we shall never tire in working for the common good of all. And now may we separate in great gratitude for the gift we are to one another. Amen.
I'm going to dedicate this final song. We can all rise if we're able. I want to dedicate this to Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker on the occasion of his liberation. It's a mashup of a few songs of different faiths. We'll begin with Salam. Od Yavo. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Le'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Le'al kulam. Salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Try it again. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving will be a living sanctuary for you. And now the text he taught. God is my salvation. Now let's do it around. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Le'al kulam. Salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Le'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Le'al kulam. Vayuch ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. צברי חבריי ורבותיי,
לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגופן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ.
אמן.
שבת שלום.
שלום.